Good morning again, everybody. Call the meeting to order for the Public Presentation Committee, May 14, 2024. The Public Presentation Committee will be conducting this meeting in person and via conference call in accordance with Municipal Government Act, Section 199. Council chambers will be open to members of the public while continuing to use the current telecommuting process in place. To join the Public Presentation Committee via teleconference, please dial 403-917-1764 and enter the PIN when prompted. We have an agenda before us. Any additions or deletions? If not, a motion to accept the agenda as presented. Motion on the floor by Councillor Kester. Any discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. We have two presentations before us today. We'll move on to 2.11, 10 a.m. appointment from STARS. We have Jackie Seeley and Glenda Farnden. Please come to the podium and do your presentation. Thank you.
Good morning. It's great to see all of you again. We are very pleased to bring you your annual update. As well, though, first I wanted to make some introductions, if that's okay. I'm Glenda Farnden, the Senior Municipal Relations Liaison for STARS. I've been working with your council and previous councils for many years now. As well, I'm very pleased to have Jackie Seeley joining me. Our municipal program has grown so much that, that's a great thing because it's a collaborative effort across the entire province that's helping to support STAR's mission and saving lives. But it's grown so much now, and as I need to start to meet with the rural cities as well, and start to engage with the towns as well throughout different county sectors. So we have Jackie Seeley joining me now, that she will be serving all of Southern Alberta. So your next update that will come, it's going to be from Jackie. And so I hope that you will welcome her and that she looks forward to working with your council for many more years to come. So Jackie, maybe just quickly tell them a bit about yourself.
Well, I see a few familiar faces from the ASB conference, so I met a couple of you already, and good to see Shannon again. I do live in Bassano, where I worked in nonprofit for quite a few years and also served on our council. So I'm really pleased to be in Southern Alberta and be able to come out to your community.
Okay. So Jackie will kick us off with the first half of the presentation on more of the statistical information.
Okay, so next year STARS will be celebrating 40 years of serving Albertans. That's quite amazing. So born out of necessity to serve our rural and remote areas, STARS is a lifeline to your residents. You can see that we've done a little bit of rebranding. Our logo is a little bit different. It leads with a heartbeat, which is a symbol of life and hope. So we continue to work with your emergency services to provide this vital service to your community. Next slide, please. Well, I guess I can do it. There we go. All right, just a little bit of a look at the financial picture for STARS in Alberta. Previously, we had a 10-year affiliation agreement with Alberta Health Services for 20% government funding. That agreement expired at the end of 2010 and has been year to year since then. In 2022, Alberta Health Services announced that they would consider top-up funding to 40%. And we're pleased to report that we did receive in 22 a top-up to 50% funding totaling $15 million. So with 3 bases in Alberta, it costs $10 million per base to operate. The $15 million that we received from Alberta Health Services excludes the cost of the Emergency Link Center, which is our dispatch center in Calgary, excludes education and training, and it excludes all administrative costs. So this is very operationally focused funding. After that, in Alberta, we have to fundraise another $28 million every year. Thankfully, the STARS Lottery continues to be a big success. And this year, again, we netted $10 million from that lottery. So thankfully, STARS supporters all across the province support that. Then after that, another 18 million must be fundraised. So that comes from our corporate donors, business donors, and even individual donors, as well as many events that take place province-wide that are led by community organizations. In addition to that, thankfully, we have the sustainable funding that we've created through partnering with you, our municipalities. So 2.2 million in funding every year approximately from our united effort with municipalities. So together we are achieving this success together of sustainability for STARS. STARS is an essential service for all of us. Here you have a map of Alberta and northeastern BC. So everywhere shown in green shows municipal support of STARS. We're very pleased that in the last year, we've added 9 more rural municipalities and 9 urban municipalities. Down here in the south, we're proud to welcome town of Fort Macleod on board, as well as town of Nobleford. You can see many of your other neighboring municipalities are partners. Town of Bazzano has joined, and first in southern Alberta is the city of Brooks. So we're very glad to welcome them in this united effort. All of the yellow boxes that you see across the map show our regional partnerships that we're building. And these are all starting at a minimum of $2 per capita and range anywhere up to $90 per capita and everything in between. We're very proud to say that Wheatland County is the regional leader in southern Alberta, with all towns and villages and the county all on board supporting STARS. So that's certainly something to be proud of out here. And then we had Beaver County in central Alberta follow your lead as the first central municipality that is fully united in a regional partnership. So that's pretty exciting. And you can see by the stars, there are other regional partnerships up in northern Alberta. So 75% of our regional leaders, like that are shown in the red boxes, are on a fixed rate in their budget to alleviate fluctuations for us, so that we can have more consistent, sustainable funding that way. And they have moved us to their emergency protective services budget and have us as a line item in that budget. And that creates a safety net for us at STARS. So it is this united effort that we continue to build across the province. As I've joined with Glenda now to help across southern Alberta, we'll see that to continue to grow. Here is a mission overview for the last 5 years and even coming into 2024. So this year already 11 missions flown. And as you can see, last year you had a record high as far as interfacility transfers through the Strathmore Hospital. So what's typically happening is when a call comes in, the patient is being picked up by ground ambulance and taken to the Strathmore Hospital. And if deemed critical, STARS is on its way to pick up that patient. The remaining of the missions are scene calls where the call has been critical when it has come in and STARS has landed right at the scene, whether that be in a highway, like on the highway, or in a field. So over the last 5 years and including 2024, 217 missions. So on average, your county is seeing 41 missions per year. And if we were to equate that in dollar value coming to your community, that would be anywhere from $350,000 to $410,000 in mission-related expenses only. Next, let's take a look at the postal code project. There's a lot of data going on on this map. So you may recall that Glenda brought this last year, and so we do have an update for you. On the left-hand side, you'll see a series of blue dots within your county boundaries. Utilizing patient postal code only, we tracked data back to 2010 and found that there were 192 residents within your county that had accessed STARS. So you can see all of the individual communities listed below. Since 2000, or in 2023, 13 more residents were flown. Now, more interestingly, taking a look on the right-hand side is a series of red dots. So these indicate where the patient was at the time they were flown by STARS. So that first number is wrong, 407. Our apologies, we didn't copy that or catch that. That should actually say 192. Total residents flown since 2010, with 155 being picked up in Wheatland County and 37 flown from 24 other locations in 2 provinces. So this is testament to the value of our partnership. Not only do your residents have access to STARS within your county, but across Western Canada. Glenda.
So STARS is more than rapid transport. Through our Emergency Link Center located in Calgary, it's our dispatch center for all our bases. They are integrated with all dispatch centers as well as every resource that's available. And we use precise GIS mapping coordinates in order to help locate the patient as well. Since we've been named the dedicated critical care provider in Alberta, so now we are also dispatching Halo and Hero response as well, so that there's precise coordination for that across the entire province. So 36,000 emergency requests are received every year, approximately 100 every day. So our STARS transport physicians are also in the Emergency Link Center and available 24/7. So they provide medical and procedural guidance on all critical calls, regardless of the mode of transport. The patient may be also going by ground ambulance, rotary wing, or fixed wing, or a combination of those resources, and it will be our transport physicians that are making all the logistical arrangements with the receiving doctors and receiving hospitals. So they're helping to coordinate on both ends of the mission. That way, when the patient does arrive to the hospital, we can bypass emergency. That patient can go directly into trauma surgery or cardiac cath lab or mandatory CAT scanner for a possible stroke patient. So again, saving precious time on both ends. We are also able to now provide virtual care, which is really key for the rural hospitals. So now through the STARS transport physicians being in the Link Center, if we have a call come in from, let's say, Strathmore Hospital, and they're needing some procedural guidance or, some medical guidance, and if the helicopter may be out on another mission, we may not be able to respond physically, but we can respond virtually and continue to assist your medical professionals with that critical care guidance. STARS is known throughout the world as an innovative leader. We're very proud to have celebrated more than 20 years of having night vision goggle capability. 50% of our call volume is at night. Also, universal blood on board. We were the very first helicopter EMS program in North America to be able to carry universal blood that can be accepted by any one of us. We originally started with 2 units of blood on board. Now we've seen so much demand with a lot of severe trauma patients that we've now increased to be able to carry up to 4 units of blood on board if needed. It is literally the difference between life and death. And a Canadian first. This is very brand new news, just started in Alberta as of last October. So for the massive hemorrhage protocol, we now carry 2 different blood products that can be added when a patient requires more than 2 units of blood to reverse anticoagulation and promote blood clotting as well. So anytime a patient is a really severe trauma patient, in order to alleviate them bleeding out, now we can also apply these 2 new blood products. So we did bring you a newsletter as well that has more information on that. So hopefully you will take a look at that. on the new massive hemorrhage blood protocol. Of course, STARS is recognized as critical care experts. We must have mandatory training for our crew members up to 200 hours per year, online training as well as in the simulation lab. We have simulation labs located at each base, and we have clinical educators. They will recreate and replicate distinct cases. So when we have a team of two that may respond to a situation that they may only see once in their lifetime, we don't want those to be the only two members that have that experience. So we will recreate that case and put all crew members across all bases through that experience and knowledge. We also do in-field training so they can be ready for the most unthinkable acts, inclement weather, patient vulnerability in very high consequence situations. An example would be that a few months ago that we had a call come in. It was on a riverbank, so right on the river. Our emergency link center was able to identify right on the river a spot where the helicopter could land. On the opposite side, it was very forested. No way to land a helicopter there, but that's where the patient was. So we landed the helicopter, all 4 crew members, including the pilots, they put all their portable bags on the back so that they had all the equipment that they needed. They forged the river, the 4 of them, across in order to reach the patient, package the patient, bring the patient back across on the stretcher with using all 4 crew members, and then able to get that patient to tertiary care. So these are the types of things that they never know what they're really in for until they arrive. And so they do a lot of in-field scenarios of very different types of things. We also work with our chain of survival partners. For landing zone training, safety is priority. So you might pass on to your fire departments as well that we now have put online training online where they have a form they can go to stars.ca and fill out and then do an online training, at one of their meetings, because fire departments are always acquiring brand new members, that may not have all the essential details that are necessary for safety. And of course, the International Air Medical Transport Conference. This is a simulation competition worldwide. So it's very rigorous competition. A team of 2 must triage multiple patients in the most inconceivable critical situations. They are utilizing the human patient simulators or the high fidelity mannequins. As well, they will be graded on their decision making, the timing, and of course the patient outcomes. So this involves helicopter EMS programs from around the world. And so teams of 2 will come to compete. STARS will host, is actually going on right now. STARS hosts our own internal competitions to identify the top 2 that are going to have the honor of representing STARS each year at this competition. I was able to see it in action on Friday at the Grand Prairie base when they were doing their internal competition. You can't imagine, even though you know that it's not real, it is so realistic that it moved me to tears to be watching them in action in the scenarios that they're presented with. We're very proud of all of our teams at STARS. We have participated in this international competition for 21 years straight. We have taken first place 7 times out of those 21 years, and we've been top 3 in the world all 21 years. We're very honored to bring the highest level of critical care to your residents.
To the chair, Deputy Reeve Clausen. The presenter has passed the allotted 15 minutes. If the committee wishes to continue to hear from the presenter, you'll have to pass a resolution. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to point that out to, we have a policy number. I was going to look at it.
It is under 6.8 of the Public
6.8,
Presentation Committee bylaw. Thank you.
So motion to extend.
So moved.
Okay, motion is the floor. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Sorry, it's process. Go ahead.
Thank you. No worries. We're on our last slide. So in closing, we would like to say thank you, Wheatland County. Thank you very much for being life-saving partners with STARS since 1991. Your current pledge for the past 8 years that you've been a part of the municipal program has been at the $2 per capita mark. We are very grateful for that. We've had a lot of our municipalities, 72% now, when she showed you the map with the yellow boxes, that are moving to a fixed rate as well, so that we will not see fluctuation with census, which has happened in your county as well. So we would really kindly ask you if you would move to a slightly graduated fixed rate of support at $20,000 per year, which would be at about $2.28 per capita. Over those 8 years, we've had increasing missions, increasing fuel costs, rising medical supply costs. The demand is great, and we have not asked for an increase of support. So we would kindly appreciate your consideration to move to a fixed rate of support that will give us that sustainability that we require each year as we face these items. There's significant benefits to your residents. You're averaging an annual average right now at 41 missions per year. As Jackie had indicated, this can be up as much as $400,000 just in mission-related costs per year. So there's significant value to your residents in the fact that there is no cost to the patient. We're very proud to have remained a charitable entity for almost 40 years next year with no cost to the patient and having flown more than 55,000 missions to date. We are providing enhanced rural health care by being able to provide that critical care piece to your communities and to your rural hospital, physically and virtually. Together, we will continue to build a robust health and safety network. We're averaging 9 to 10 missions across our 6 bases every day. So literally, a life is saved every day, but partnership makes that possible. So in closing, we want to offer our sincerest gratitude to you for continuing to be a partner with STARS. Jackie. And we would like to present to you, for more than 30 years of standing by our side, a plaque in your honor that really showcases to your residents that you're doing something very special for them, for their health and safety, by being a partner with STARS. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Could we have a photo opportunity if possible?
Do we want to finish up this little bit first and then
Yeah.
if there's questions or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So if there's any questions, to be asked. Okay. Seeing none. Just for information for yourselves, this is public presentation, so there is no motions made here.
Yes.
This request will be brought forward from an interested counselor at our next meeting or a meeting after, depending on the agenda, just for your information. So, okay, no questions. We can, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thanks. I'm glad to see that you guys are helping out Halo and Hero, because they do some important work in areas that you can't service or currently don't service. So that's very good. So I think that's a positive. And I think with what you're doing, I can understand that you will do better with a fixed rate than a variable rate. So I'd be happy to bring that forward to a future council meeting for you.
Thank you very much.
So,
as far as Halo goes, right, it is a coordinated effort. Saving a life is a team effort. And so being able to, certainly when they are co-located in the area, this is part of the collaborative effort of being able to have precise coordination, but still with our transport physicians providing medical guidance and medical oversight. So now that works really well that, we certainly in a scene incident, for example, you don't want the patient being on the side of the road while they're waiting for STARS to come, even if it is of a critical nature. We can dispatch Halo, we can get that patient and, immediately into one of the hospitals, Lethbridge or Medicine Hat usually. And then STARS is still coming as well because it is critical, right? So there's all of this integration that's happening as well as the coordination of what is this patient going to require when we get them back to tertiary care in Calgary. So that's all happening in the background as well. So, you know, it is very much a team effort. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you very much for the presentation and great service. It's been around for a long time. I know I was a first responder at one time and been there when they've landed and picked up people. It's incredible what happens. So, and it's a lot of people that work together to make that happen. So there is a picture for us to take with we probably do it out in the lobby or something.
Yeah, we're thinking outside.
Outside, even if it's no hurricane winds today, we could do that. So we can take a break for 10 minutes. We'll come back at 10:38 with our next presentation. Thanks. I'll call this meeting back to order. Just to finish up the last, I need a motion to accept his information from someone.
Also move.
Okay. Motion's on the floor. All in favor? That's carried. We move on to our next presenter. We have Carl MD and Kane Weevil. Hopefully I get it right. Representatives of Carsland and District Community Association, a bike park. Please come to the podium. Thank you.
Good morning. Slight change. I'm Georgina Nichols. Kurt was unable to join you this morning. I'm the president of the Carsland and District Community Association Agricultural Society. Good morning, committee members. We wish to thank you for the opportunity to share our vision with you. We are a small but very active community with a youth sports program, a curling rink, and an ice hockey rink. But due to the growing demographics and broad age ranges, we felt it prudent to expand the facilities and the program offerings within our community. We believe to encourage engagement with our neighbors and local businesses, we need to provide facilities and programs that support their needs and bring us together. And we believe that the proposed bike park will do just that. I am joined by our sports leader and the passion and drive behind this proposal. Please allow me to introduce Kane Weevil.
All right, so let's get into
Welcome.
Thanks. All right, thank you for your time and consideration with our proposed project. For starters, I want to get into some points of emphasis with this presentation. So I want to show you kind of what we're looking to build. I want to show why dirt is, in my opinion, the best material for this project. I want to display some features that I'd like to include in the design and why. I really want to show the simplicity, the low cost, and the low commitment in regards to the land use that will be used for this park, being that it's based with dirt. I really want to emphasize the large reach of a bike park in the community, the wide age range, skill range, as well as the high overall percentage of users compared to other far more expensive facilities is significant. Not only will this park be a blessing for younger kids, but having a facility that can entertain the teen to young adult demographic in a community is something that cannot be understated. And we're definitely missing out in small towns. So pairing all of this with the fact that parents can not only bring their kids, but actually participate with them is all part of what makes parks like this such a unique and hard to find experience. All right, why do we want this? So anyone who's lived in some of these small towns where there's a little less police presence knows that reckless driving is a big issue. A park like this will get kids off the street and riding their bikes in more of a controlled, safe environment. It'll get kids riding their bikes with a constructive purpose, working towards some sort of goal while they're staying active instead of just mindlessly doing laps around the school. This will bring the community together, both young and old. I believe this will play out in both the construction process through the volunteers that we already have sort of in the works, and the eventual use of the facility itself. In today's society, we tend to live in our own little bubbles and communicate like this rather than this. In a small town like Carsland, it's unfortunate that so many of the residents don't interact or know each other's names. And I think a project like this has the potential to dramatically change this. This will bring kids out into an open, visible setting to kind of keep them out of trouble. So part of what I want to do with the design is really emphasize putting it in a visible public place, not off to the side somewhere where you want to build this, but you don't want to see it. That bringing it out in the open will make it much more family-friendly environment in the long run. Bring a visual appeal to the heart of the community. I'll get into some of that in a minute here. Create a full family experience for the summer months, which again is something that's really lacking in our community. Okay, so here's just a potential design that I've drawn up. I want to emphasize designing stuff like this with dirt, with just some basic knowledge that I possess, is very easy to adapt and to fit into really any available space, within a certain frame sort of thing. But and also easy to adapt to budgets and availability, volunteers and stuff. So why dirt? Dirt-based parks are great for both BMX and mountain bikes. So I want to stress BMXs work great on hard packed dirt, which is what a lot of the kids are riding these days. So that's important. Economical, simple to both build and maintain. Dirt is very forgiving to ride on. If you're not familiar with this style of riding, it's very forgiving versus hard surface riding, which is a lot more prone to injuries and wipeouts and cuts and bruises and all that. So dirt is very forgiving to ride on. Dirt makes it easy to upgrade and alter individual features and the overall design as you go. Designing jumps and tracks like this, there's no written formula. So sometimes being able to adapt the dirt as you go, alter and change things is great. And you can add things to the facility later, sort of progress as the community progresses with it, sort of thing. And this is important, I think. A dirt-based bike park can be easily removed, leveled, or rebuilt in a new location if the need for the space should change or unforeseen issues should arise. An hour with a track hoe and it's gone kind of thing, versus other more permanent facilities that you would build. A dirt park can be built and maintained by volunteers with simple common tools. There have been multiple people in and around the community that have informally expressed possibility of using heavy equipment on a volunteer basis, but it's nice to know that a few volunteers could build a park like this by hand in worst case scenario. Go big. So finding summer activity that can appeal to the entire family, kids, teenagers, and parents is a rare experience, but something that my design will absolutely make a reality. One of the biggest mistakes I've seen communities make with facilities like this is they go too conservative. It's fun for the first week and then it turns into a bit of a ghost town in a short time. It's important to note that going big doesn't mean the overall size, but the quality and the design of the features and challenges within the facility. So it doesn't have to be a massive facility, you just got to make it quality, and the features have to be of a certain type and size. And, it will entertain for hours on end. Having something for all ages and skill levels with enough progression to keep most of them, even the most experienced riders, entertained is the key to a successful build. So what is a pump track? Here we have a guy pumping through a simple pump track. And I would just say with this style of riding being a new experience for a large part of the community, I think it's important to sort of educate. A Facebook page will be utilized to build support, create a channel to recruit volunteers. This can also provide resources like videos and information and riding tips, and be a place for any members within the community to address concerns if they aren't familiar with this style of riding. This park would add a whole new level of possibilities to our minor sports programs within the community too. I will make sure that happens. All right, so I'm just going to go through some basic features. I won't get into too much detail, but the idea, so when I say designing it for kind of a community that's not your typical stereotypical biking community, if you see the picture on the left is sort of an intermediate level jump. The picture on the right is more of an expert to advanced level. If you just steer to the left and sort of, especially in the beginning, keep it to the beginner to advanced type of riding, you can get just as much fun and enjoyment and make it just as like long lasting, where kids will keep coming back without the risk of, because that's essentially what makes the expert and advanced stuff fun, is it's scary and it's dangerous. So if you just sort of steer to the left, and if you've ever been to one of these facilities and watched, you'll see 7-year-olds going down the intermediate line, and you basically just roll over it like a glorified pump track sort of thing, as far as the jump lines go. I should also note that like a jump like that, if you're picturing some little kid riding into that too fast, going flying through the air, that doesn't happen. It requires like years of building up a very specific skill and technique to actually get air off these jumps. So typically like 90% of the riders will just be rolling over them. And before it actually even has a potential to be dangerous, you build up the skill and the ability to handle that. So as far as safety goes, so on the left you have a simple roller. That's kind of the essential part of the pump track, is the idea you can pump through it without pedaling and maintain and build speed. On the right, you have a good side view of like more of a vertical style dirt jump. And again, it requires very specific technique to actually jump off of that. So when you have a bunch of new kids going over, if you design it right, the danger is quite minimal. And it's dirt, so it's very forgiving. This is just, I won't get into that too much. It's just a feature that you could potentially include if you design a feature like that in the right location. It can be something for more advanced riders to more experienced riders, about keeping the risk low if you design it right. But just an idea. Here we have a wall ride. It's another feature that I'd like to put in the park. Because again, an experienced rider can get to the top like you see in those photos, but a beginner has no chance of getting up there, and it's essentially risk-free for beginners, but it gives the opportunity for advancement as people become more skilled and want more challenge. RC club, okay. We have an RC club in town, for anyone who doesn't know. It's nothing real official, but it's grown quite popular over the years. This is just one more example of the reach of a facility like this, and just the percentage of users in the community that will actually be taking advantage of it. So we plan, if this goes through, to take the park over for an hour a week. And as we do with RC Club now, we'll get no shortage of people coming out to watch and enjoy and race. It's in itself. Like, we give dozens of kids that participate at the moment. So this would only increase the popularity of that. Here's just some measurements of, again, a potential design. So you can see it's fairly compact. So just to give you an idea, 120 feet by 50 feet. This design, you could pretty much fit it into half the rink. that's in Carsland. If you took like end of the rink to the blue line, you could fit a design like that almost in that space. So you don't need a real large area. Sometimes too big is almost worse. You just end up with a bunch of features that don't get used. Just keep it compact, simple, flow, kind of circles through. You can see with the arrows, I think that's important because it just keeps kids going around and entertained and safe. And I won't get into that. That's just some dirt yardage approximations for that design. So aesthetics and landscaping. I don't want this park to look like a construction zone, and it doesn't have to. With some simple attention to detail, just placing trees and mulch and rocks, and just the overall shape of the park. Like you design it and you feather edges and you have flow and curvature. You can take something and make it look like, even for someone who's not taking advantage of it and riding it, you can make it look like something that they'd be proud to have in their front yard and seeing out the window. And just how easy is this to build? I'm going to show you a few examples of my own personal park that I've been building at my property, not in this province, but so you could see a couple of jumps there, bigger than they look like in the picture. This is more just to give you an idea of how simple this is to build. Here's a few more pictures of it. So I built this by myself in 2 afternoons, and most of the time was spent farming the dirt from another location with some high-tech fancy tools. And that's how easy it is. So that design, like, basically, I estimate in having quite an army of volunteers to complete it, just from the communications I've had with people in the community. And we've already, like I said, we've already had people express the desire to help us out with some equipment. But worst case scenario, I could build that on my own with wheelbarrow, shovel, and bucket. So, and in closing, so with my personal knowledge of bike park layout, building, and design, the desire that I know personally exists in the community from all the people I've talked to about this and ask me about it on a regular basis, plus the low level of permanent commitment as far as the land use goes, this to me is something that should absolutely become a reality in Carsland. So this is just a potential location that I think would work good. But as I've stated earlier, I think it's the type of thing you could really easily design into any piece of land that's available, sort of thing. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I know it's kind of nerve-wracking to be up there, but you did a good job. Yeah, any questions from people?
A comment is, I think bikes are back. Like even in Speargrass, it's the age demographics may not be using this, but I've seen more bikes out than I ever have. So I do think that it's coming back. I like the idea. The dirt that you will need has to be kind of a more of a packing dirt. Is that?
Yeah, you want, like they say, loam clay, whatever that means, is
The clay.
ideal surface, but yeah, just any type of clay that's not overly filled with rocks. Well, one, like if I go back to kind of the picture of the park, one thing with dirt sourcing is you can build a large portion of it with just rock filled kind of lower quality dirt. And as long as you put like a 4-inch surface layer that's nice and free of rocks and stuff in case kids fall and stuff, just gives it a nice surface, and have some available for maintenance over time. You can build a large portion of the park with lower quality dirt to kind of build up the size of the features and stuff.
So with, were you thinking of fencing it? Or?
Yeah, so that was one of the reasons, that last slide where I was looking at that ball diamond area, because it's already a good grade there. And there's already like 50% of the fencing infrastructure kind of in place. It just needs to be
Yeah,
sort of
completed.
tidied up and finished. And then we could actually take that old, ugly, rusting ball diamond fence that looks like it's going to fall down at the top anyway, and kind of take that down and use some of that material to even continue. But yeah, you want fence to keep flow, keep people from cutting across. And I think in a town like that, you really want to keep people out with like quads and
Right,
stuff.
yeah,
'Cause
that's-
we know that's an issue there. So.
Yeah. Have you got any costs to this that you've come up with? Or
Not
really? Not
Do you
yet?
want to talk on that part?
Not as yet. This is at the planning stages at this point. We wanted to present it before this committee so you're aware of what we're doing within our community and the boundaries. We will be coming up with a cost prospectus within the next 30 days, but we do expect it to be quite low because 90% of it's going to be volunteer based. And we are working towards a project in our ball diamonds that we're hoping to pull some of the material for the bike park from there and reutilize it. And I work in construction with a very large commercial and residential builder in Calgary. So I've reached out to some of my people there to see if they're willing to support and partner with us to bring in material.
So I'm not familiar with just that area. Is that county-owned land or is that land?
It's
or
county-owned land, yes.
county-owned? And then my other question is about, I'm not sure about the dirt, so, and weed control and grass growing and all that kind of stuff. Is that an ongoing maintenance?
That would be the main source of maintenance. I mean, a lot of the actual upkeep. So the one nice thing about a dirt park, as far as riding and safety, as maintenance falls off, the park actually becomes safer in a sense because you have to sort of pack and build the lips to jump them properly and stuff. So in that sense, that's all volunteer. It'll be self-motivating because the park will ride much nicer if people are out there actually keeping it smooth. But yeah, the weed control, I think that would be the main aspect of maintenance that you'd have to.
But that would be a
consider.
volunteer, you'd expect volunteers to
I would hope
maintain it
so.
going
That
forward.
would
and
be ideal.
Mhm.
And I think it would be reasonable, but.
It's a cool idea. Thanks.
We also have a groundskeeper that works for us during the spring and summer months, maintaining our ball diamonds and such. So it would be a partnership to make sure the maintenance was scheduled so that we can maintain it and keep it up as part of the community.
And generally with weed maintenance, I see any of these tracks, it's like the main track where people are actually riding tends to take care of itself. It's just like the sides of the stuff, so lots of mulch and.
They have that landscape material that you can put down. That would be really good, like it, so that it
Yeah.
blocks everything, not the cheaper stuff, the more expensive stuff, but it does work really well.
Any other discussion, questions? I have a few.
Sure.
I'm very familiar with Airdrie BMX. My stepson raced there for years. So I've been to that track and it sounds very familiar to this. So would this be just come and go as you please, or would you have like events there?
The reason I wanted to design it with sort of a figure 8 flowing pattern through both the jump line and the pump track is so you could have, like, especially in the community itself, some local events just to get the kids working towards something like little BMX races and stuff like that. And I haven't been to Airdrie, but if I'm not mistaken, that's more of a BMX
It's a BMX track.
track. Yeah. So like what I'm looking at is more similar to like Chestermere.
Okay.
If you've ever been out there.
No, I haven't been to that one. No.
They have a great facility. Black Falls has one. Canmore has like 2 or 3. It's Canmore and they love their.
And are they open all the time?
They're open, and then usually you need to, it's ideal for maintenance reasons to have some sort of way to block off and kind of, even if you just have a chain across sort of the main drop in, just when it rains a lot or spring melt off, if you can keep kind of and have signage up saying the park is closed. I mean, obviously people are going to be able to take their bike in there if they really want to, but and just that would be another part of the education, just through the Facebook page and stuff, just getting people to understand, like, if you want this park to be functional when it's nice out, don't ride it after it rains and
For
make
sure.
a mess of it, kind of thing. So
Yeah, they're very low cost. I've seen lots of uses on them. A lot of kids get in and really enjoy it. It's good exercise. Gets them out of the house, away from the Wi-Fi.
and the teens especially, like, that's the hardest group to get out of the house.
Yeah, and it's not a skate park, which that was a big trend. I liked seeing this kind of stuff. It's different. And you think of the banks of the Bow there. I could see in the future maybe like mountain bike stuff going there too, but if there isn't already. But yeah, so well, thank you. Sounds like you got working with the Ag Society is the right way to go, and figure out your costing and everything. And I see our staff is here. He knows very well, and I know he's from Airdrie, so he knows what I was talking about. So, yeah. Any other questions? No?
I just want to make, and you probably looked into it, but I would really encourage you to talk to your local Lions Club. I belong to the Cheetah Lions, and we have a ball diamond that is spectacular because of the involvement of the line. And if you can get them to adopt this idea, I mean, I love the idea. It's community. It's fantastic. It's kids out there. So, but your Lions will be a very big help in the area. So I'd recommend it. I love the idea though. So thank you.
Just to speak to that for a moment, the president of the Lions Club actually sits on our board, and they are part of the partnership for this. So they will be part of it.
Great. Any further questions? Well, thank you again for your presentation. I really appreciate it. I like to see when things come from the community versus when we come up with an idea and try to stick it in. It's better to come from the community for what they want. So
Well, thank you for your time and consideration.
thank you very much. Motion to accept this information from?
Also move.
Motion on the floor. All in favor? That's carried. I don't think there's anything else further, so I will adjourn this meeting. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.